Did Taehyung really show up suddenly at the military camp just to meet Jungkook? What is the true meaning behind the emotional moment that happened on the brink of the Golden Magne's return? Why did this moment make millions of fans around the world cry in emotion? No one expected such an emotional moment would occur in the final days of Jungkook's military service. Even Jungkook himself admitted he had no idea about Taehyung's arrival. But the shock that occurred at the military camp quickly became the center of attention, seizing the spotlight of media, the South Korean public, and BTS fans worldwide. This incident was not just a meeting between two old friends, but a symbol of hope, solidarity, and love that transcends time and national duty. According to internal reports circulating from within the military environment, Taehyung came without an official announcement, unaccompanied by media, without any HYB staff entourage, and not wearing his usual celebrity attire. He came as a friend, a fellow group member, and more than that, as part of a family not bound by blood, but united by history, music, and the journey they had gone through together. Taehyung's presence at the military base where Jungkook was stationed was no small matter. They were assigned to different military divisions, and access between military camps is certainly not freely given. But that did not seem to stop Taehyung. He had just completed his military service, yet chose not to go straight home or hold a private celebration. Instead, he went directly to the military location where Jungkook was stationed, only a few hours after he was officially declared done with his duty to the country. Based on a reliable source who declined to be named, Jungkook was momentarily shocked when he was informed someone was waiting for him outside the training complex. When he stepped out and saw Taehyung standing there, without saying much, just with teary eyes and a barely hidden smile, Jungkook froze. The situation instantly became very emotional. Soldiers who witnessed the moment even admitted that many of them were moved. Some said that the moment revealed the human side of two huge stars who have long been known in the entertainment world. A moment where the role of an idol was set aside, replaced by the sincere relationship between two people who had shared a stage, sadness, hard work, and victories. According to one military staff member who witnessed the incident firsthand, Jungkook hugged Taehyung for several minutes without uttering a single word, just a tight embrace, as an expression of emotions that could not be conveyed through words. Staff described the moment as one of the most touching they had ever seen while on duty. In a short interview conducted by a HYB representative after the incident, Jungkook expressed a shock. "I never thought he would come. I thought he would rest after completing his duty. But he's here, standing in front of me. It was one of the most beautiful shocks in my life." Meanwhile, Taehyung in an official statement said, "I just wanted to pick him up in person. We've been through a lot together, and this moment is important for both of us. I wanted to be there when he finished his service, like when we started our journey back then, together." Many fans shared their feelings on social media after witnessing the moment. Some called it the most heartfelt reunion, while others admitted they couldn't hold back their tears seeing the closeness of two friends who had been through so much together. Many also said that this interaction made them even more convinced that the bond between BTS members was not just professional but something far deeper and more sincere. South Korean pop culture analysts described this moment as a symbol of emotional solidarity rarely seen in the celebrity world. In the entertainment industry, it's very rare to witness an interaction that feels this authentic, especially in such formal and restricted conditions like the military, said Professor Kim Sung-jae of Korea University, an expert in contemporary culture. Taehyung and Jungkook have shown that the friendship they've built over more than a decade in a tough industry can endure and even grow stronger in extreme conditions. This moment also sparked new speculation about BTS's plans after military service. Many observers believe that the close relationship between the members, which remains intact even during military duty, is a strong indication that they will return as a complete group after all members finish their military service. Although HYB has not provided an official confirmation regarding BTS's comeback plans, This moment is seen as an emotional signal that their return is not only possible but deeply desired by the members themselves. More than just an emotional meeting, Taehyung's surprise visit reinforces the narrative that the relationships between BTS members are built on a much deeper foundation than mere professional ties. In the music industry, which often separates artists from their humanity, this incident proves that BTS still upholds the values they have cherished since debut: friendship, solidarity, and emotional honesty. Now, with Jungkook set to complete his military duty in a matter of days, and Taehyung having just completed his, public eyes are turning to BTS's future. Will they return in full formation with a renewed spirit after enduring the tough but bonding military experience? One thing is certain: the moment at the military camp was not only a personal history for two BTS members, but also for the millions who have watched them grow from trainees into global icons. It wasn't just a hug and tears, but a bigger message about brotherhood, loyalty, and togetherness that never fades even when time and distance come between. This is what made the world, and ARMY, unable to stop crying. Amidst fans' euphoria and the viral spread of the tearful narrative about Taehyung and Jungkook's meeting at the military camp, a major question arises that challenges the credibility of the entire story. Did that emotional moment actually happen? Upon further investigation through various official and unofficial sources, and with no direct confirmation from HYBE labels, the South Korean Ministry of Defense, or public statements from the two BTS members themselves, increasing doubts are now cast on the truth of that narrative. In fact, an in-depth investigation shows that the story depicting a tearful reunion is likely nothing more than an unverified speculation. It must be emphasized that as of the publication of this news, there is no official documentation, be it photos, videos, or eyewitness statements, that can prove Taehyung visited Jungkook at the military camp unexpectedly. No public schedule, military reports, or coverage from credible South Korean media outlets reported such an event. This becomes a critical point in assessing the validity of a narrative that has already spread widely across social media and fan community platforms. HYBE itself, which is typically very quick to provide clarification or support for any positive narrative involving their artists, has not released any statement confirming that an emotional meeting between Taehyung and Jungkook actually occurred. If such a moment truly happened, it would be a golden opportunity for the agency to reinforce the family-like bond and solidarity among BTS members, which has long been a key element in their public image. Several media outlets that previously reported on this meeting mostly cited unnamed sources, eyewitness accounts, or viral short videos, none of which have been verified for authenticity. In professional journalism, such sources are not sufficient to support a credible news article, especially when it involves world-renowned public figures like BTS. The absence of primary verification, official quotes, or documentation that can be tested for credibility stands as strong evidence that this report is most likely just a rumor built on weak foundations. Furthermore, this issue has sparked serious discussion among ARMY and media observers about how emotional stories can quickly spread, be believed, and even be accepted as facts by the public simply because they contain strong emotional elements. The combination of fans longing for the return of BTS members from military service and the hope for touching moments makes the public particularly vulnerable to unverified news. Cultural media critic Professor Lee Hyun-woo from Yonsei University shared his perspective in an exclusive interview. This is a classic example of how wishful thinking can shape a false narrative that the public believes. The fact that there is no concrete evidence is not just suspicious, but also an indicator that the news is likely fiction wrapped as reality. Moreover, speculation about the meeting surged after several fan accounts shared old photos that were manipulated or cropped to appear as if they depicted a recent interaction between Taehyung and Jungkook. However, when those photos were digitally analyzed by fact-based fan communities, they turned out to be archived images from years prior, when BTS was still actively promoting as a group before entering military service. This strengthens the suspicion that the circulating narrative was built entirely on emotional hopes of fans, not on real events. Another implausible point in the story is the structure and security system of the South Korean military. Access to military camps, especially by outsiders who just completed their service, is highly restricted. Security procedures, visitation permits, and former soldiers' visits to other military bases cannot be done spontaneously without high-level coordination. The fact that there are no documents or military agendas confirming Taehyung's visit to the military unit where Jungkook is stationed reinforces the assumption that this event never truly occurred. From a journalistic standpoint, emotional news that is too perfect without concrete evidence, without official statements, and without the involvement of major media outlets, must be approached with deep skepticism. Especially when such news goes viral solely because it touches public emotions, not because it is backed by valid data. In this context, the narrative of Taehyung suddenly visiting Jungkook as a tearful gesture of brotherhood is merely a depiction of a collective emotional illusion formed by public imagination, not a verified reality. The fact that such a story can spread so widely and be believed by millions shows the major challenge in today's digital information ecosystem. When the speed of information spread outweighs the verification process, the public becomes a victim of narratives constructed for engagement, not for truth. This phenomenon also shows the need for responsibility among fan communities in sharing information. Not everything that appears touching and heartwarming is a representation of what truly happened on the ground. As a conclusion, it must be firmly stated that there is no evidence or official confirmation that Taehyung visited Jungkook at the military camp. The heartwarming moment that was said to make fans cry turns out to be an emotional illusion born from collective imagination, not a verifiable fact. It is essential for both media and readers to prioritize caution, healthy skepticism, and verification when dealing with emotionally charged news, especially if it involves public figures with influence as massive as BTS. We all miss the togetherness of BTS members. We all await the day they return to perform again, united as a group. But building expectations on the foundation of false narratives is not a healthy path, neither for fans nor for the artists themselves.